Hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good day, good life. That opening greeting was in honor of Reverend Kobata, who often began our online services with those words. Reverend Kobata, if you happen to be watching this, we miss you, but we hope you are doing well and that you are enjoying your retirement with your family in Portland. I'm Kevin Yoza, and I'm honored to be with you here today, and it's been my privilege to be able to help bring the online services to you every week. Thank you to all of you for attending the services, and thank you for your support and encouragement over these past several months. I miss all of you. I miss the conversations, the hugs, and the smiles. I hope you're all doing well, and I look forward to when I can see you all again in the future. For today's service, we will have the Sutra chanting of the Shōshinge, followed by a Dharma talk by our Supervising Minister, Reverend Henry Adams of the San Mateo Buddhist Temple, a Gatha titled Ondokusan II, a message from the BCSF Jr. YBA, and closing words from Rich Cacciati. But now we will begin with a group reading. Please join me in reciting the three treasures. Hard is it to be born into human life. Now we are living it. Difficult is it to hear the teachings of the Blessed One. Now we hear it. If we do not realize the truth in this life, when will it be realized? Let us reverently take refuge in the three treasures of the truth. I take refuge in the Buddha. May we absorb ourselves in the principle of the way to enlightenment and awaken in ourselves the supreme will. I take refuge in the Dharma. May we be submerged in the depths of the doctrine and gain wisdom as deep as the ocean. I take refuge in the Sangha. May we live in harmony in the great assembly as disciples of Buddha and be freed from all hindrances, becoming units of true accord in the life of harmony, in a spirit of universal oneness, freed from the bondage of selfishness. Even through myriad ages of kalpas, hard is it to hear such an excellent, profound, and wonderful doctrine. Now we are able to hear and receive it. Let us thoroughly understand the true meaning of Tathagata's teachings. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Thank you.
Shōshinge Yakurutai virtue be shared equally with all beings, and we together awaken the Bodhi mind and be born in the realm of serenity and joy. Namo Amida.
Namanda Butsu 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 Namanda Butsu. Please join me in Gassho. Nyorai Shoi Koshusei Yui Setsu Mida Hongan Kai Gojoku Akuji Gunjo Kai Oshin Nyorai Nyo Jitsugon. Shakyamuni Tathagata appeared in this world solely to teach the ocean-like primal vow of Amida. We, an ocean of beings in an evil age of 5 defilements, should entrust ourselves to the Tathagata's words of truth. Namam Davats, Namam Davats, Namam Davats, Namam Davats. No. Hello, I'm Reverend Henry Adams. I am the Supervising Minister for the Buddhist Church of San Francisco. I just started this month following the retirement of Reverend Kobata, so this is my first official opportunity to share a Dharma talk with the Sangha as the Supervising Minister. I've experienced some wonderful times with your Sangha in the past, visiting you as a guest speaker and different Bay District activities. And so looking forward to continuing to deepen our friendship in the Nembutsu. And the Nembutsu itself, which is grounded in our life of the Nembutsu, grounded in the Buddha's compassion and expressed in the Shōshinge. So I am particularly honored to be able to share my first Dharma talk as Supervising Minister on this wonderful occasion of the Shōshinge Service. And so I've selected this verse from the Shōshinge that I would like to talk about a little bit today. This is a verse from the Shōshinge that really speaks to me these days. We here at the San Mateo Buddhist Temple, where I serve as resident minister, have a practice of chanting Shōshinge on a regular basis for our Sunday services and other activities, and so Shōshinge is close to my heart, and this verse that I just read really resonates as well, talking about this evil age of the 5 defilements. This is a term that we come across a fair amount in the writings of Shinran Shonin and the other Pure Land Sutras and our teachings of our tradition. They talk about the Gojoku Akuse, this the 5 defilements and this what we call this evil age that we live in. So I want to share a few reflections about what does that mean. When we think about this age, these days that we live in. For me, this time since March and the outbreak of COVID-19 and all of the things that have been happening these past few months, this is without question for me. I'm 43 years old this year, the most kind of tumultuous and challenging time that I've lived for. Perhaps some of you have lived through more profoundly challenging historic times, but for me this is kind of the peak of what's been really challenging. And I say that even as we're beginning to gradually return to some of what little things that start to feel like normal life. There's a swimming pool in my neighborhood that's recently opened up over the summer so that we can go and do that activity. Swimming pools are considered to be fairly safe environments as long as people maintain their social distancing. We've been going to the beach regularly. Of course, the beach is considered one of the safer places to be. It's outdoors. There's lots of wind, blowing fresh air around. We even had our first socially distanced meet up with some friends out at the beach, which was very interesting. We didn't recognize them at first when they came because, they arrived and they had their masks on, hats, sunglasses, and they walked right up to us. And it wasn't until they were just, almost close enough to say hello that we realized, oh, these are our friends who we were meeting here. So, even though we're spending this time together, it's in a totally different way than what we've been used to. And so in the midst of all this, we've been making a lot of adjustments. We've been spending a lot more time at home. For me and my family, we're continuing the distance learning. I have 3 sons, 2 of whom are in elementary school, 1 of whom is a toddler. So they're all at home all day, and we're trying to get work done and trying to get this little toddler worn out and entertained throughout the day, let him get his exercise. So it's been a challenge, and I know that you've all been challenged in various ways yourselves. And we think about it, we started this right around spring Ohigan. Now we're in the season just having observed the autumn Ohigan, and so we've gone through half the year from one Higan to the other, making these adjustments in our lives. And it's frustrating, right? It's been difficult. And it feels like we're living in what we might call an evil time. Evil in the sense of it's not comfortable and it's not as fun as we would like it to be these days. And even though we've done all of this hard work for the past 6 months, we're still seeing substantial transmission of COVID-19 in our communities. I know, San Francisco, San Mateo, all the Bay Area counties, Santa Clara, Alameda, are now down into, governor's tier 2, that sort of, second level, not the most high risk time, but we've just sort of inched down a little bit, and yet we're still very restricted in our activities. And so we're living in these difficult times. What is it that makes it so difficult for us to live in these times? And so the Buddha talks about this time that we live in as the age of the 5 defilements. There's the defiled age, defiled view, defiled passions, defiled beings, and defiled life. So these 5 aspects, the age, the views, the passions, beings, life, that's what makes this, I would call this age of defilements. And so the defiled age means the times that we live in, right? And in the sutras, a defiled age is described as an age of conflict, of war, an age of epidemic disease, an age of famine, right? Natural disasters, right? Any of this ring a bell, right? For us, we've had these wildfires, right? These terrible natural disasters here in California very recently. So it's an age when our social environment is seen to be in decline in this time that we live in, right? And, this is, from a Buddhist perspective, we live in 2020, but Shinran Shonin, over 800 years ago, he also felt that he was living in a defiled age, right? So there's the defiled view, right? Defiled view is an age when warped views are rampant, right? People's perspectives are kind of turned upside down, right? We think about basic things like wearing a face mask to protect others and to some extent to protect ourselves, but it's really something we do to prevent the spread of any germs we might have to other people. And this has become a kind of political issue. It's become completely separated in many people's minds from a basic kind of courtesy and public health practice to some sort of a political statement. And we're also seeing that cases where communities that haven't been following the guidelines and then see a spike in cases. We have people saying, like, I told you so. And it's almost like they're rejoicing and seeing, look at these people who, see, they didn't follow these guidelines, and so the virus is spreading, and there's almost a kind of joy, a sort of a warped joy, a warped kind of rejoicing in the difficulties that others are experiencing, right? So we see that, I see that what we call the defiled view here in the society these days that we live in. Defiled passions. The passions, of course, in Buddhism refer to the greed, anger, and ignorance, the base passions, and those base passions of greed, anger, and ignorance running rampant in society, such that we could say that the wicked values are prevailing, that people's perspectives, their way of thinking, is not based in compassion, is not based in wisdom, but is based in their own kind of self-centered convenience. What is good for me, right? My anger, righteous. I feel a sense of that my anger is right, and I should kind of hold on to it, right? Not open to recognizing the mistakenness of our views, right? Thinking that what's mine is mine. Gotta protect all this toilet paper, all of these supplies, everything. You know, we're having all different kinds of level of different things people are hoarding. I just heard on my way over to the temple where I'm recording this, I heard talk about desks now are being hoarded. That there's a shortage of desks because everybody's kids are studying at home. And so this sense of we should have everything that we need, but yet, you know, we're clinging on. I see this as the age of the defiled passions rising up. Right? And we talk about the defiled beings. This is really interesting, this age of human beings. Human beings are kind of in decline, in a sense. And it's interesting because they say this is the result of our karma and everything. It says that in this age, the defiled age, that the minds become dull, the bodies become weak, and the lives become full of suffering, right? And that the character of people is in decline, you know. I wonder sometimes, you know, I love technology myself. We're able to, in many ways, get through this COVID-19 challenges because of technology. I'm able to share this Dharma talk with you today thanks to technology. But I wonder, you know, is my mind becoming weaker? I don't know how to drive anywhere anymore. I just put it in the GPS. I don't remember where to turn right or turn left when I'm driving a car. I don't memorize phone numbers anymore in the way that I used to. And so I wonder, is my mind becoming weaker relying so much on this technology? And then it talks about the defiled life. Defiled life is very interesting. It says human lifespans getting shorter, right? We live in this age of advanced medical technology. We have profound understanding of nutrition, you know, what things are good to eat, what things are bad to eat. We have very advanced agriculture. Food should be, you know, nutritious food should be widely available to everyone. And yet we find that in the midst of all of this abundance here, even in the United States, the most wealthy country in the world, that we have people whose lives are being cut short due to lack of proper nourishment, due to gun violence, due to opioid addiction and other drug addictions. All of these things that we see, all of these tragic and sad occurrences where we see people's lives being cut short for reasons that would not be necessary, right? If we had a more compassionate and caring perspective in our society. perspective that was rooted in the wisdom and compassion of the Buddha. And so if we think about what it means to live in this defiled age, think about living in the midst of COVID-19. COVID-19 itself isn't evil. The disease itself, it's a virus, right? It's neither good nor bad, but our experience of it, right? The way that we experience it, from our perspective, then it becomes good or bad based on our way of thinking. One of the things that we hear these days is people say, well, thanks to COVID-19, we've been able to spend more time with our family. We've been able to connect with the Sangha in ways that we haven't been able to. Maybe you're watching this Dharma talk and you live so far that you wouldn't otherwise be able to go and visit a Buddhist temple every week. So people say, oh, well, we have these, we call them the silver linings to this experience. So the disease itself, right, also causing great suffering and difficulty for people, right? So there's the evil, called the evil aspect. Evil is kind of a complicated word for Buddhists, but we're talking about it as something from our perspective, right? Brings pain, brings suffering, brings tragedy and sadness into our lives, right? So where does this suffering come from, right? The suffering comes from our way of reacting to what is happening, our way of reacting to the things that are going on in the world around us. So, we think about suffering, and the Buddha's teaching is all about trying to reduce suffering, reduce difficulty. The Buddha teaches that difficulty increases as we cling more to our self-centered way of thinking. So if we think, oh, it's so boring not to get together and have a big party like I'm used to. What kind of Labor Day, what kind of 4th of July is it without a big party with hot dogs? Who wants to eat a hot dog while you're wearing a mask, right? Who needs the masks, right? So I wish this was just over. I'm over it. I'm over this pandemic, right? Wearing a mask, it's uncomfortable. It's hot. It's smelly. I don't want to deal with this anymore. Right? So we can go back. We could just go out and do whatever we want. But then if we do, we shouldn't be surprised to see the rates of infection increase, to see ourselves and the people around us, becoming infected. This is sort of basic flow of cause and effect. And so to me, we can see the evidence that, as Shinran Shonin saw in his time that he lived in the age of the 5 defilements, that we too, for me, I say, I live in such an age too. And I don't have to look outside myself. I look at my own mind, my own perspective, my own way of looking at the world. I don't see it in other people. I see it in myself. Right? The Nembutsu shines that light into my own mind to see this world as it is, to see myself as I am. And so the Nembutsu teaching, this teaching is provided by the Buddha precisely for people like me, people who are mired in this greed, anger, and ignorance, people whose minds are clouded by these 5 defilements. The Buddha awakens this compassionate concern, recognizing the nature of this world we live in, that countless beings live and face difficulty. And the Buddha, because we live in this world of 5 defilements, recognizes how difficult it is for us to cross over to the other shore. And so the Buddha provides us with the Nembutsu. The Nembutsu that Shakyamuni Tathagata, the Buddha, appeared in this world solely to teach the ocean-like primal vow of Amida. We, an ocean of beings in an evil age of 5 defilements, should entrust ourselves to the Tathagata's words of truth. The Tathagata's words of truth, Namo Amida Butsu. Entrust ourselves to these words and the assurances that we have in the sutras, that these words will carry us to the world of enlightenment, carry us over to the other shore, this realm of enlightenment that we call the Pure Land of Amida Buddha. And so this promise to carry us over, this is the primal vow. And when we hear that, we receive the power of the Buddha's compassion shining into our hearts, carrying us forward through this life. And so when I hear Namo Amida Butsu, I feel this sense of peace of mind, knowing that the Buddha is there to sustain and guide me through this difficult time, and that my realization of awakening will be realized without fail through the flow of the Nembutsu, through my birth in the Pure Land of Amida Buddha. The Pure Land of Amida Buddha isn't a place like Disneyland, right? Disneyland had to shut down completely, even in the midst of COVID-19. I think they're sort of gradually, starting to open up again, but then opening, closing, right? Depending on what the rates of infection are doing. Because Disneyland is a place of this world of 5 defilements, right? People can't be trusted to keep their social distance and keep their masks on, right? The Pure Land is the world of the Buddha's enlightenment that embraces everyone, just as we are. In the midst of my this world of 5 defilements, I know that there's a path to this other shore. And so I direct my heart and my mind to that world of enlightenment that transcends those 5 defilements, that is a world of caring for others, understanding their needs, and to be able to do what I must in each moment, care for others. I can't do that perfectly, but when I hear these words, Namo Amida Butsu, I'm settled, my path is settled in that direction. So, without doubt, we'll continue for months to face continuing challenges and to live through this difficulty. And if we look closely, we will see these 5 defilements popping up. I see them popping up in my own mind. I don't need to look outside my own mind to see these. And in the midst of that, I look for a clear direction. And I find that in the words of the Shōshinge, in this practice of hearing regularly these words of the Shōshinge, this chanting that brings us back to this heart of the Nembutsu, that settles our direction. In the midst of the 5 defilements, our direction settled toward the world free from defilements, the world that we call pure, the world of awakening. So in conclusion, I'll read these words again in the Kanbun, the Japanese that we chant, so that next time you hear them chanted in the Shōshinge, perhaps you'll have some association of the meaning of what is said here and the profound compassion of Amida Buddha. Please join me in Gassho. Nyorai shoi koshu se, yui setsu mida hongan kai, gojoku akuji gunjo kai, oshin nyorai nyo jitsugon. Shakyamuni Tathagata appeared in this world solely to teach the ocean-like primal vow of Amida. We, an ocean of beings in an evil age of 5 defilements, should entrust ourselves to the Tathagata's words of truth. Namam Dabutsu, Namam Dabutsu, Namam Dabutsu, Namam Dabutsu, Namam Dabutsu, Namam Dabutsu.
Hi, I'm Rich Cacciati. For today's closing recitation, Please join me in reading the Golden Chain of Love. I am a link in the Buddha's golden chain of love that stretches around the world. I must keep my link bright and strong. I will try to be kind and gentle to every living thing and protect all who are weaker than myself. I will try to think pure and beautiful thoughts, to say pure and beautiful words, and to do pure and beautiful deeds, knowing that on what I do now depends not only on my happiness or unhappiness, but also that of others. May every link in the Buddha's golden chain of love become bright and strong, and may we all attain perfect peace. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu. And now we will have a message from our BCSF Jr. YBA.
Hi everyone, this is a reminder to register for the 2020 census. It is very important that we get as many participants as possible.
Every 10 years, the court mandated by the Constitution and conducted by the U.S. Census Bureau counts the population in the U.S.
Census determines how many representatives each state will have in Congress for the next 10 years and how much funding for roads, schools, housing, and social programs. Each person brings in $20,000 of funding for the district.
It is very important that the Asian community is counted because without it we could lose representation in our community.
It is important that we get 100% participation so all groups are accounted for. The government does not track you down if you're an undocumented immigrant.
The last day to get counted is September 30th. The deadline this year was cut even earlier. You should receive a package in the mail with a form to fill out. You can also go to 2020census.gov to register. If you need help registering, the Japantown Task Force will help you at the Peace Plaza on the following dates.
Thank you, Junior YBA, for that important reminder. For today's announcements, the BCSF Book Club carries on, but it's currently in a transitional phase. Please call or email the BCSF for more info. Mindful Meditation with Leo Jocelyn is on Wednesdays at 6:30 p.m. Please call or email the BCSF office on how to participate. For today's appreciations, we would like to thank Kevin Yosa for his opening welcome, Reverend Henry Adams for his Dharma talk, and the BCSF Jr. YBA for the 2020 Census Public Service announcement. And lastly, thank you to you, our Sangha, for taking care of each other and for staying connected and engaged during this time when we are all apart. We miss you and hope you're still doing well. Thank you for joining us in today's virtual Shōshinge service. Please take care, stay safe, and we look forward to seeing you again soon. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu.